several recent encounters with grieving parents, and with the scriptures today caused me to reflect on how do we cope with grief. It was the response of King David today in the reading from the second book of Samuel that really moved me. Upon learning of the death of his son, tragic death of his son, David cried out, "My son, Absalom, my son, my son, my son Absalom, if only I had died instead of you." How often these words are spoken by so many parents who have to bury a child who has died. In the scriptures today, we heard of the official whose daughter was close to death and how he sought out Jesus and asked Jesus to heal the daughter. Then there was the account of the woman, the elderly woman, who sought a cure at the hands of numerous doctors, but to no avail. If only she could touch Jesus, he would heal her. As we celebrate this past weekend, the feast of the presentation of the Lord, I was reminded of the words of Simeon, who engaged Mary when she and Joseph brought Jesus into the temple to present him to the Lord. Simeon told her that a sword would pierce her heart and that her son was destined for the rise and the fall of many. That sword would not only pierce the heart of Mary, but would also pierce the hearts of many parents who grieve the loss of a child and who agonize when their child suffers serious injury. Just as Jesus came into the presence of Simeon and Anna when he was brought into the temple, he also came to the official's daughter who was sick and the older woman who needed healing. And to the woman who touched him, Jesus said, "Your faith will save you. Your faith will bring you comfort and consolation." When Jesus tells us that faith will bring us comfort and consolation, he's asking us to confide in him, and we will find rest for our souls, and that from him comes our hope and our salvation. Many who grieve the loss of a loved one will say, it's not the fact that there is no joy in life, it's because there's no longer any hope. Well, Jesus tells us today, hope in him. He alone will be a rock of safety, a refuge for our strength. Faith asks of us to trust in God and pour out our hearts to him, and we'll find refuge for our fear and our pain. The hole that is in the heart of those who grieve may never go away, but faith at least will dispel the darkness that oftentimes overcomes or overshadows those who grieve. As families gather for prayer today, let us pray for families who are grieving, that they may find peace and the assurance that God has not abandoned them. May God bless all families today.